let's look at some of the stories. We see that there's been some headway made in terms of the Retail Grocers Association and its standoff with the government. Well, the association, as you heard John Bostwick say in the first segment, they are kind of sort of have a workable list of what they feel is doable. I guess sort of middle of the road. Say government, listen, here's what's doable, etc. Obviously, I'm trying to meet that imposing an enforcement date, which is next week.
Yeah, I think the government is really strong arming them, and they are, and these hard and fast dates and the punishments by these dates, and this has to be done by such a time and such a time. I don't think that's fair for them, because you're changing a whole dynamics, you're changing a whole system, and you want it done by a certain time. If not, you're going to punish them. That you shouldn't do that. That should not be done. But I think that the Retail Association, like I said earlier, and I will say again, they have to speak with the same voice. They cannot allow the government to strong arm them of changing prices, because when will it stop? Okay, it's these items. Then if things don't, we know that next year we'll go into recession. Will we then go over more items? And then the further year, will we go after other items? And so you got to understand that this is leading down a road that there is no end to for them. Because we were just saying, okay, we can control everything you're selling now, and we're going to control what you sell, everything.
So what you think? You think to give in this regard, and in this instance, mean that they're going to have to sort of, they're going to be pushed further?
I mean, you got to understand. If we are projected to go into recession next year, that means it's going to be economically worse for everybody next year. If it's economically worse now, it's going to be worse next year, according to Bloomberg and all of these economists who are predicting recession. And so when will it stop, though? You see, understand? And so it's not that people were saying to me that, oh, you know, it's a small man, we got to take care of the poor. And I understand all of that. But you got to understand that when will it end for the retailers? Because if you push them to the brink where they have to shut the store, then there'll be no food for nobody. And so,
what do you think the fallout is likely to be? If there is, because the FNM is saying disaster, which I'm an optimist. I'm not going to use the word disaster. And because after all, the government is saying, listen, the reason for this, maybe draconian measures, but the reason is to spare you, Cassius, but I don't know if to spare whomever it is out there that needs to be able to feed their family.
I tell you, when the shipping crisis first broke, I bring in a lot of products out of China and India. And the containers were so high that the per unit cost on these items would be too high. So for me, didn't make no sense bringing them in. And so how are you going to sell them? And then when you're looking at products that you don't have sensible margins on, why bring them in? You understand? And so merchants sit down, and we look at what we call a SWOT analysis. You look at the cost of bringing in these products, and if it's too much headache, I'm not bringing them in no more.
So that's still something the grocers may sort of fault to and say, listen, it's just not even worth it. Or
unless they find other avenues or cheaper ways to bring them in, then they're going to say, listen, I'm scrapping that product. So you'll find the shelves are empty on certain products. So you wouldn't have the variety that you have, because they're not going to waste their time bringing in products that are not going to make sense.
It's already taking very long now for certain items that you were used to and fell in love with to be available. Yeah. I mean, some haven't been available for a minute. And so that is something that we don't want to see.
That is a fundamental issue that we're going to face. But, the problem is we have an economic hurricane going on in the Bahamas. And a lot of people are broke. A lot of people don't have no money. And this hurricane ain't just that. This economic hurricane been going on for years. And people are fundamentally broke. And so when you really look at where we are as an individual, as a country, as a people, they don't have the discretionary income. And discretionary income is income that you get left over after you didn't pay all your bills. It's fun money. There's no fun money for Bahamians. And so this discretionary income that we need, we don't have. And then when you're looking at monies to save, there's no discretionary, there's no savings money. And so we find ourselves at a conundrum, at a crossroad, because we've created a country where we have not provided economic wealth for our people.
Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow our TikTok account. Thanks.